Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome back to the last session of today, the first day of the Proactive Parents Conference 2026. Thank you for joining us. And if you've been with us in the past two sessions, you are about to be blown completely for the day. The person we're bringing for in this session is someone who is not just a professional, but have lived parenting experiences in decades and have also raised amazing humans. I particularly love her so much, have followed her over time, followed her work, followed her experiences, and she's mentoring me from afar without even knowing it. We're not going to be taking your time. We'll be showing her bio as we do. While you go through her bio, we'll bring her in so that she takes up the stage already. Welcome back again, and stay tuned for the next speaker. If you can see the screen, our next speaker is here. Mrs. Finachichi is here to share with us on an amazing topic titled Mothers Are Visionaries. She is one of those visionary mothers that I look forward to, and I admire her and want to be, someone who also have gathered her experiences to live my own parenting experiences. So stay tuned as we bring her in. Oh, she's here already. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's going to be taking the stage already, so we're not going to be wasting our time. Hello, Ma.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to
Good
see you
evening from
too.
Nigeria.
Good to see you too.
How are you doing, Ma?
I am very well. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Awesome.
Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the Proactive Parents Academy
Thank
Conference
you.
2026. If you've been in this conference maybe once, twice, you must have been conversant with who she is. And today she's going to be here with us sharing on mothers as visionaries, right? I don't want to
Yes.
say anything about that. As ever, I am already with my writing notes, with my pen, waiting for her. She's an embodiment of experiences. So get in here, share the link with everybody, especially mothers. Especially mothers. As much as we talk about fathers being the pillars in the home, mothers are 99% everything that will make this pillar stand. That's the truth. So we want to see everyone, your mommies, grandmothers, and in fact, she's a grandmother. She's a
Yes.
grandmother, the youngest grandmother I've ever seen in my entire life. I want to be like her. That's why I'm following her bomber to bomber. So welcome everybody. Ma, we'll be leaving the stage for you. Take it up, and we will be here in the next 45 minutes listening to you. Welcome, Ma.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you see my slide? Because I'm not sure if you can see it. Just confirm to me if you can see my slide.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, okay. All right, just bear with me. Don't go yet so you can see my screen. Um
It's on now.
It's on now, yeah? You can see it.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
see it. Okay, perfect. Good. Okay, so I'm going to start. Are you going to read my bio? I wasn't sure. Should I go ahead?
Please go ahead. The bio is at
Okay.
the background. Everybody is reading it.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone, and how are you all doing? Thank you so much for this invite. Thank you so much. I never take speaking about parents or speaking to parents. I never take it for granted. I've done this now for over 15 years and I still do not take every opportunity for granted. Today, we're going to be speaking to mothers as visionaries, how proactive mothers build lasting legacies and global impact. You see, I'm one of those mothers who I look at children beyond what I see. So a child may not be wanting to study, a child may be making lots of mistakes, a child may need us repeating things over and over to them and all that kind of stuff. And that doesn't faze me. because I know that there's something beyond that child. I know that it takes us nurturing that child for that child to become who they fully are meant to be. So behaviors of children do not faze me at all. And that is what a visionary mom is about. And we're going to talk more about it. A visionary mom is someone who sees beyond the behavior, sees beyond the needs, sees beyond the weaknesses, sees beyond the mistakes, sees beyond all that to see the potential that this child has and also to nurture that potential. I'm not saying here that visionary moms do not address behaviors. I'm not saying they don't address mistakes. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying that our biggest decisions don't come from their behaviors. We look beyond it. And that is how I've parented for years. And my children, young adult children, I've parented them since childhood to their teenage years and now to young adulthood age years. And it's still that mothering them as we, with a vision and as visionary. So that's what I'm going to be sharing here. That's what I'm going to be sharing here today. And I'm looking at two screens because I can't see the screen on the thing. I can't see it too clearly. So I am going to be looking at two screens. Okay. So what is motherhood? For me, motherhood is an assignment of vision. I'm a Christian, so you're going to hear me refer to the Bible every now and then, because that's my experience. And I'm not going to teach you away from my experience. So I look at motherhood. And if there are fathers watching this as well, that includes fathers as well. I look at motherhood as an assignment of vision. We see a lot of leaders out there on the public platform. We see, a lot of influencers, global leaders, all these guys leading and just, being impactful and having influence. But you know what? Someone at some stage of their life was shaping their identity, was shaping their character, was shaping their confidence, was shaping their values. Someone was doing that. Could be their mother, it could be a guardian, it could be a grandparent, but long before those leaders were recognized, someone was shaping their character, their identity, their confidence, their values. So long before your children become the leaders that we know that they're going to be, we need to be shaping their character right now. We need to be shaping their identity. We need to be shaping their confidence and their values. We need to do that. That's our responsibility. That's our assignment as mothers. We cannot leave our children's character, identity, values, confidence. We cannot leave that to the world to shape. We live in a world today where our children have many voices to contend with. So we cannot afford to not be intentional about our parenting. We cannot afford to not be proactive about our parenting. We just can't afford that. Because if we sit down and relax, then guess what? The world will parent our children. The world will shape their identity. The world will shape their character. The world will shape their confidence and values. So we cannot even afford to do that. And this is why conferences like this are so important. This is why I'm a very big advocate to parenting conferences, because we are learning. All of us we keep on learning. Yes, my children are young adults now, but I'm still learning in parenting. I'm still growing in parenting. You cannot be static. You can't say, oh, I've raised these number of children, so I know it all. No, you don't. No, you don't know it all. And our children will gain less if you think you know it all. We have an assignment of vision. We have an assignment to shape our children's identity, irrespective of what social media is saying, irrespective of what the internet is saying, irrespective of what 21st century, what the language is out there in the 21st century. We as mothers have an assignment of vision to shape their identity, to shape their character, to shape their confidence, and to shape their values. But it's going to take a lot for us to do that. We don't just wake up in the morning and then we're able to shape them. Shaping them is not an automatic process. It's an intentional process. It's a proactive process. It's a process that is geared with relationship and growth with it. My organization is called Relationship and Growth Parenting Academy. And this is what we focus on. How do we nurture? How do we shape our children's identity, their character, their confidence, their values? How do we shape that? As well as do the million other things that we're doing in this world. Because in today's world, mothers, we're busier. We're busier than before. What are we doing even in our busyness? How are we shaping our children's identity, their character, their confidence, and their values? And that's what we're looking at. When you look at your child today, what do you see? What do you see when you look at your child? If there are comment sections, if you're watching this either on YouTube or wherever you're watching it from, write in the comment box, when you look at your child, what do you see? Because if you don't see anything with your children, you're not going to speak the language of what you see to your child. This is why it's so important for you to have a vision of your child. And I'm not saying that you should have a vision in terms of what career your child is going to be. Oh, my child is going to be a doctor, so I'm going to have that vision of doctor. No, you're not. It's not you to determine who your child is going to be, but it's you to determine and cultivate that relationship with them. Know who they are, their character, so that you can help bring out the gifts that God has already given them. That's our job as mothers. So when you look at your child, what do you see? Because it's what you see that you will say. When you see potential, when you see leadership in your children, that's what you call out. And for me, that's what I did with all my children. I saw them as leaders. So every time I'm even talking to them, I'll say, the leader that I see in you will not do this. If they do something that is wrong or they misbehave, I'll just tell them, the leader that I see in you, this behavior is not going to reach that leader. I always called them leaders. Even up till today, I still call them leaders. And now in their different various things that they're doing, they're leaders in their fields. Because as parents, we called it out. We called it out. And this is so vital. We've got to call out what we see. And that's why you must see. A visionary mom sees beyond today. A visionary mom will say, what does my child need from me today? Who is my child becoming? What may flow through my child into other lives? How are my children going to influence other lives? And now see, if you believe and you see that your children are going to be influential in life, if you believe and see that your children are going to be leaders, your children are going to be trailblazers, when you see it and you believe it, you're going to speak it. So that even when your child makes a mistake, you won't be calling your child, oh, what a fool, how stupid are you? You will never say that to your child, because you see your child beyond that misbehavior they're doing there and then. If you see your child as a leader, you're not going to be calling him a fool just because he forgot what 1 + 1 was. You won't do that, because you will know that, this person that I'm seeing here, this is going to be a leader. Let me call that leadership out. And then you will be more patient in helping them get that, whatever they're doing right. But everything depends on what you see. If you don't see, you cannot say. And that is the key. A visionary mom has to see beyond today. Today goes so quick. The years go so quick. A visionary mom must see beyond today so that they can respond beyond today. Do you understand? So that you can respond beyond today. Because if you're responding, if everything you're doing is reacting in the moment, you've lost sight of what the vision is for your child. So we've got to see beyond today. Let me look at a big distinction in what I'm trying to talk about here. You see, there's a part of control and vision. I want to kind of distinct two of them because it's very important, because a lot of us saw parenting as control. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's no control in parenting. There is control. There's an element of control in parenting. A control is this is what typical control is. You must become what I have chosen. And do you know what? I want to believe that everybody that is watching this does not have that mindset of your children must become what you've chosen. Again, please let me know in the chat box, wherever you're watching from. Even if you watch this later on, put in the chat box, does your children have to become what you have chosen? Just check, just note that down. As opposed to vision, where you're saying, I will help my children. I will help them discover. I will help them discover who they are. I will help them develop their gifts so that they can become responsible for the life that God has actually given them. That's the difference between control and vision. And a proactive parent, a visionary mom, is more about the vision. I will help my child discover their gifts. And by helping your child discover your gifts, you're going to have patience. You're going to understand them. You're going to listen to them. You're going to observe them so that you understand, what gift is this my child showing? What gifts? My eldest son, very entrepreneurial right from when he was young. He will want to sell something. He will want this. He will be interested in businesses. You could tell from when he was young. And so we helped him develop that. That's his entrepreneurial spirit. My daughter on the other side, she loved singing. Babies, when they're crying, every time Tamara cried, just sing a song to her, she'll stop crying. Anytime a song comes up, Tamara will stop crying. And then we had specific songs we used to sing to her. No matter how much she's crying, as soon as you start singing that song, she will stop crying. So you could tell that singing, anything to do with music, artistry, that was part of her. And so we helped develop that, taking her to art classes, taking her to music classes. All those sacrifices we made is because we discovered the gifts in her. Now she's writing songs. Now she's composing songs. So these are the things that help our children. Children all have different gifts. They don't have to sing or take action, or act or story. That's not the only gifts and talents with children. I called all my children, irrespective of their interest, I call them leaders, because I told them I see them as leaders in their various fields. So even if your child is going to be a doctor, your child is going to be a teacher, your child is going to be a nurse, your child is going to be whatever your child is going to be, a baker, whatever your child is going to be, call it out that they're going to be leaders in those fields. That's what a visionary mother does. That's what a visionary mother sees. And so that's what a visionary mother responds to. You've got to know the difference and take away anything about they must become what you've chosen. No way. They are, as a Christian, our children are first of all God's children before they're ours. They were given to us. They were gifted to us by God. So we've got to release control. It's not about us. It's about an assignment of vision. And that's what I want us to keep on holding on to, the assignment of vision. So that's number one, what you see. The next part that I want to talk about is the deep roots. So there's this deep roots before great heights. So one thing that I love when I got this topic, I said, okay, this is really good, because you want your children to go to greater heights. Everybody wants their children to rise to greater heights. But guess what? To rise to greater heights, you have to first of all have deep-rooted things that will sustain you. You don't see a big tree out there with full of, beautiful leaves, very strong stem. You don't see all that without what is rooted underneath. That tree will have to be deeply rooted. So we have to see that if we want our children to go to great heights, then we've got to start thinking of their roots. They need deep roots of identity, roots of faith and values, roots of love and belonging, roots of emotional security, roots of confidence, roots of responsibility, roots of resilience, roots of wisdom. This is what then, this is what is underneath it all for you to see the great heights. Without them being deeply rooted in these things, that great height will not be sustainable. And that's why we come across many people today who, yes, they may get to great heights, but because they have not been deeply rooted, they can fall very quickly. And so as parents, we need to look not just, above, we need to look underneath. What are we doing to how are we helping our children build those roots? This is important in parenting, because parenting is not only about our children's achievements. I know a lot of times, yes, oh, my child did this, my child did that. What about their roots? What about their roots? My son went to Harvard University. Yes, I'm grateful that he went to Harvard University. But I'm even more grateful for his character. I'm more grateful for his sense of responsibility. I'm more grateful for his wisdom, his resilience, because he went through a lot of setbacks. I'm more grateful for his confidence. I'm more grateful for his empathy and his respect towards other people. That's what I find more satisfying. And yes, it's great that he went to Harvard, but what is below in the roots, that's what I'm more proud of. That is what I'm more proud of. And this is why, as visionary moms, we need to focus on their roots. And please, let's not leave their roots for other people to build. Please. Please. Instead, let other people compliment us. I work with teenagers in church, and we only see teenagers every Sunday. Okay, 2 hours on Sunday, and we help them. But that's not our full responsibility. Is not what is happening in 2 hours for the whole week. Parents, you must be involved as well. You must help build those characters. You must help model those characters, because they only see me on Sundays. What are we doing the rest of the days at home? And so it's a partnership between parents, between educators, between teachers. It's a partnership. How are we nurturing our children's identity? Because for them to get to great heights, guys, they must have deep roots. They must have deep roots. And that is up to you and I to intentionally and to proactively always think about, how am I nurturing their identity? When you tell them off, what are the words coming out of your mouth? Are you insulting them? Are you comparing them? Are you shouting on them? Yes, I'm going to say this stuff again, because I used to say this thing many, many years ago. And it was almost as if I was just, oh, Fina is always saying we shouldn't shout. Me, I shout, or me, I shout. Or. And I'm telling people, these things affect our children's identity. And I think I'm just going to keep on saying that stuff. And then so that when parents who end up choosing to continue shouting, then at least they know that they've heard the word. It's like preaching the gospel, isn't it? You preach the gospel. Some people may accept it, some people may not accept it. But I tell you, constant shouting on your children damages their identity. It damages their emotional security, their emotional maturity, their emotional safety. And this is not about, Western world, Africa. Is about today's world. Because all Gen Zs, all Gen Alphas, irrespective of where they live, they think the same. They have the same mindsets. Isn't it? They have the same mindsets. So we need, as parents, to grow and be able to nurture this generation of children that we have. How are you teaching them about your faiths? How are you teaching them about your values? Are you modeling the faiths, and are you modeling those values? Because yes, you can take your children to church every day, but if at home you keep on insulting them, keep on criticizing them, keep on condemning them, then they will look at that your faith as if, this faith thing that mom is doing here, and me, is very confusing. Because one day we're doing everybody read your Bible, everybody fast, then the next day we're punishing them without any consideration. Children, they observe these things. They observe them, and they can see the massive difference. So we need to step up in our modeling, our faith, and our values. Do our children feel that they belong in our homes? When our children say things, do we listen? We don't have to agree to everything they say, but do we actually listen so that they can have a voice? These are things that visionary moms do. Visionary moms are not permissive moms. Visionary moms are not like, oh, just do what you want to do, or what they call wokeness or woke generation. Visionary moms are not that. Visionary moms can be firm, but also can be soft. And when I say soft, I don't want us to think, we're saying, don't do that. Please get up from your seat. No. That's not what we mean. We just mean that visionary moms can be firm but also loving. They can be firm but also nurture a relationship with their children. When you say you don't want, this is how you want this done, or you don't want these things to be done, you're firm about it. A visionary mom doesn't back up and say, okay, yeah, just do whatever you want to do. A visionary mom is consistent. Now, a visionary mom is not perfect. A visionary mom is not perfect. No parent is perfect. So this is not about perfection. This is about consistency, being intentional, being proactive. So for you and I, look at these rooted areas. Look at these areas of identity, faith. How are you intentionally building that in your child every day? That's a question to ask yourself. Reflective question to ask yourself. How am I as a mom intentionally building what is on beneath my child? How am I helping grow those roots? Because these is the roots that will help sustain the heights. The roots will help sustain the heights. So it's so important that we think about that. Don't just look at only the grades, look at the character as well. And with those characters, it means that you have to model those characters as well, because our children are going to learn more from what they see you do than what you tell them to do. Okay, so that's very, very important. Okay, achievement will tell us how high can my child go in academics, in their school, in their university. But character will ask, who will my child be when I'm not around? Who will my child be? And that's key. Who will my child be when I'm not around, or when they arrive? Who will my child be? Because that character is what's going to carry them through. That character is what will carry them through. See beyond the child's behavior. A visionary mom sees beyond the behavior. I said that kind of at the start. Behavior matters, but behavior is not identity. And this is why I said at the beginning that when I'm saying that we see beyond behavior, it doesn't mean we ignore the behavior. It doesn't mean that we pretend that the behavior is not there. It doesn't mean that we don't address the behavior. It's just that we don't act as if the behavior is their identity. And there's an example I've given. Instead of telling your child you are lazy, you tell your child, I have noticed you're not taking responsibility for doing the dishes. Or I have noticed you're not taking responsibility for tidying your room. Or I've noticed you're not taking responsibility for sweeping the floor. You see, you're separating the behavior. What you've noticed is that they're not taking responsibility for that task. When you call them and say you are lazy, that means you have attacked their identity. And let me tell you something, with many of my years of working with young people and my years of working with parents, let me tell you what happens with this small sentence of you are lazy. You keep calling your child is lazy. The child embraces it as an identity. The child embraces it, okay, I'm lazy. When it's time to do dishes, they just say, oh, I can't be bothered, I'm lazy. Just subconsciously. Because they're lazy, they find it even more difficult to do the dishes. Because they're lazy. Because we have termed them as lazy. Because we've termed them as lazy, they find it difficult to even study harder than they should. Because in their minds, they think, what is the point? I am lazy. And you see, when we want to correct that not doing the dishes stuff, or we want to correct the not studying or the not being motivated, we attack what they're not doing right. Oh, you're not doing your homework. So we want to even beat them up because they didn't do their homework, punish them because they didn't do their homework. But we've not addressed the main issue, which is the identity distortment that we have said unintentionally. We've called them lazy. So that reluctance to do what they need to do is coming from their identity. Compared to if you just tell them, I notice you're not taking responsibility for your books, for your homework. Now they have an angle to go to. Okay, I need to take responsibility for my homework. I need to take responsibility for tidying up my room. There's a solution. Do you see what I mean? There's a more practical solution for them to do. Compared to when you tell them they're lazy. When you tell them they're lazy, it already tells them in their identity, I'm lazy, there's nothing I can do about it, so that's it. So we need to watch our language. We need to understand that behavior is not identity. So if you have been telling your children you're lazy, you're stubborn, you're a fool, if you've used those kind of words, because I know that in our childhood we heard a lot of those kind of words from parents, from uncles, from aunties, from teachers. They attacked our identity. And I'm not here to criticize them. I'm here to tell us that as a proactive mom, as a visionary mom, we need to think differently. Not everything we heard when we were growing up is right. So we will be, I don't even want to use a name, but we will be, let me use this word, we will be illiterates of the 21st century if we hold on to the unhelpful ways of our childhood. Alvin Toffler says that quote, and he says that the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write. You know, in our days, illiterates are just termed of people that cannot read or write. No, in the 21st century, those are not illiterates because I'm sure they can hire people to do their work. The illiterates of the 21st century are people who are unwilling to learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's one of my favorite quotes because parenting is about that process. We have to continuously learn, we have to continuously unlearn, and we must continuously relearn. You coming here today, you listening to this now, you have some things that you will need to learn from this. And from hearing all the things I'm saying, you might think, oh, I've called my child lazy before. Okay, I'm going to unlearn that. I'm not going to say that anymore. I'm now going to talk about not noticing their responsibility in that behavior. I'm now going to talk about the behavior, not the identity. That's unlearning and relearning. Did you see what I mean? This is why it's so important. And I'm so kudos for you attending this conference and also watching the replay later on, because this is what parenting is about. This is what parenting is about. So please see the child beyond the behavior. So important. So important. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next slide. I think I brought that out already. The next thing is build. And I think I've already described it, but build those roots. Build what will remain. Because no matter how high they go in their academics, what will remain are those roots that we talked about: their integrity, their kindness, their responsibility, respecting people and themselves, resilience, compassion. These are the things that will remain. So build on it every day. What are you doing to build on these things that will remain in your children? Because I wrote it here, we cannot go with our children everywhere they're going to, but we can plant these values that will speak when we're not there. And that's the key. So build what will remain. Build what will remain. Very important. Very, very important. Okay, next slide. Am I in the next slide? I think so. I can't see the screen properly. Hold on. Now, the next slide is in our connection. And I'll tell you why this very topic, this very part is very important to me, because in our academy, relationship and growth parenting, we're always talking about your relationship with your child, your connection with your child, but not just leaving it as only your connection with your child, but building that connection and then building the capacity, building the competence, building those skills that we want our children to have. They're all related. In connection, you're listening before the crisis. You're listening before the thing comes up or the mistake happens. You're listening. You are someone who is known as a listener. When children know that their moms listen to them, it's easier. I tell you something. It's easier for us to influence our children when there's a connection. You know how you hear people say, oh, social media is now influencing all our children. Is this, is that. It's because our children are connected with social media more than they're connected with us. Is whoever they're connected with the most, is whoever can influence them the most. And so we need to be mindful that we listen. Listening is a big deal for this generation of children. It's a massive deal. And I know even for us in our days, we just think, oh, okay, they didn't listen to us, so what? In today's world, listening is very key. It's one of your connecting tools, listening to your children. And you have to learn it. It's not something that's automatic. You've got to learn it. So listen, remain curious. Don't just jump into conclusions. Ask them what happened. What were they thinking? How did it happen? Be curious about what happened rather than just jump at the mistake they made, jump at the thing they did not do, jump at it and then punish them. Be curious, because in your curiosity, you will have more gaps where you can teach them stuff. But without that being curious, without asking those questions that will get you into the mind of your child, you will miss a big opportunity to teach them. You will miss a big opportunity to teach them. Correct and reconnect. And this, when I wrote here correct and reconnect, you know what I just remembered? I remembered even just the video that we watched recently of Mr. Tony Elumelu and the girl who asked him the question and how he corrected her. If you watch the rest of the video, they connected. He answered her question. He gave her great advice. He didn't just correct her and then angrily walk away and say, no, I'm not going to answer this. I'm not going to even talk to this girl for her being rude at me or being disrespectful. No, he corrected and he reconnected. They had times where they even laughed and very relaxed rest of the conversation. When I saw the rest of the video, I was so happy. I even did a post on it. I was so happy. We can correct and reconnect. Don't just correct them, shout at them, scream at them, insult them, and then go your way. No, there's still a moment of reconnection. There's still a moment to teach them. And that's what Mr. Tony Elumelu did that day, which I was very impressed about. Correct. We're not saying don't correct them, but reconnect after you correct them. And once you see you doing that, you find out that the girl herself did not leave there being embarrassed or shamed. No, she was corrected. She took the correction. And guess what? Her answers, her questions were answered. How many of us would not love to be in that room to ask Mr. Tony Elumelu a question? So she's both of them won in that case. So this is, again, applied to parenting. Correct and reconnect. That's how you build that connection. Repair after conflict. I know they say a lot that African parents don't apologize. African parents will not. Please, you are a visionary mom. Please apologize when it needs to happen. When you know you've done something wrong, be the first person to apologize. That's what will build, that's what will help to continue to build trust between you and your children and continue to build that connection. Very important. And capacity, again, as you connect, we're not telling you to just connect and then leave them alone. No, connect and help them build their capacity. We want our children to be able to know how to make decisions. And if our children are going to make decisions, then there's a stage in our own lives as parents where we have to start letting go bit by bit. You can't treat your 16-year-old like you treated him when he was 8 years old. No, there are many things you need to start letting go of as your children are growing. And don't say, but I won't let go because they're not acting their age. No, they've never been that age before. And it's the more we teach them those decision-making skills, the more we let them go. Because for them to make decisions, we have to let go. That means we're not making some decisions on their behalf. We've got to let go and start to help so that our children will start to make decisions by themselves. A lot of times we unintentionally get in their way of decision making, especially as they're getting into teenage years, because we want to hold on tightly. We want to make sure that they don't get into trouble, and that's fine. But we also, there's a thin line. There's a thin line. So capacity building their decision making skills, where you let them come in some decision making, even if you have to guide them. And this is where their voice matters, because you're open to hearing their suggestions. You don't have to accept all their suggestions, but at least you're open to hearing them out. That's very important. And then emotional regulation, the ability to be able to regulate their emotions. That is a skill that many Gen Zs and Gen Alphas need today. Being able to regulate their emotions. But guess where it starts from? It starts from the home. It starts from us modeling, regulating our behavior. You see, when our children do stuff and we shout and we get angry, we've not modeled emotional regulation there. We've modeled emotional irregulation. And that's how our children will learn to respond to their friends or to people that don't do what they say they should do. So in building capacity, we need to model building capacity. Problem solving, again, this is something that we need to start allowing our children to do. Not so that we don't have answers. Sometimes your children could ask you a question. You could turn around and ask them a question as well, a curious question. Okay, what would you think about that? What would you say to that? What are your thoughts on that? When you allow them to share their thoughts on stuff, you start to see them being able to, okay, so this has happened. Let's do it this way. Let's do it that way. They'll be like problem solvers. And that's what we want our children to be. We want our children to be problem solvers so that they're not going on in life just following people, following people. We want them to be able to problem solve and not just wait until somebody else says something. We want them to be able to be proactive. That's what, that's your name, is it? Being proactive parents. Our children need to be proactive, but we need to allow them. We need to help them help them solve problems, not just academic problems, but just life situations. Okay, I want to go to the market today and we need to buy this and we need to buy that. What do you think we should do? Give them those kind of scenarios. Let them start practicing. Okay, what's the better way, Mom? If you're going to buy all this stuff for next week, can you buy some today? Can you buy some tomorrow, so that you're not going all together on one go and buying everything? That's problem solving. But allow them to give them the chance to practice it, guys. Those small things, you might think, oh well, I'm a mother, I know it all, I know that I need to go to the market at this time, but just get their say in it. You just never know. They might have a better suggestion. Their responsibility, all these things, connection and capacity is so important. So important. And it works hand in hand. Because if you ignore connection and you're only focusing on capacity, they see it as a burden instead of as what is going to help them in life. That's why the connection part is so important. That's why the connection part is so important. And I think the next slide, I've kind of said what I said there, where our own lives are part of the lessons. What we're modeling is part of the lessons. It's part of the parenting, what we're modeling. Parenting is not only just about what our children must do. Parenting is about what we must do, how we must live, how we must model the values and the lessons that we want our children to have. If we don't know how to listen, how are we going to expect our children to know how to listen? If we're not showing respect to our spouses or our children or even the house helps. I know you might think, well, how can I show respect to the house help? Are they not my house helps? No, you can be respectful in the way you speak to them. You can be respectful in when you instruct them to do stuff. You can say it respectfully. These are things that our children need to see. Because when our children see us be disrespectful to the house helps and people that we have around us, guess what? They're going to do the same thing. More than, I'm sure, 9 out of 10 or even 10 out of 10 children who see their parents speak down on house helps and people that work for them, the children end up doing the same. The children end up doing the same if that's what they see every day. So our lives are part of the lessons. It's something that I want us as visionary moms to take with us as we go out into the world to help shape this generation. Very, very important. We must model emotional regulation. If you're upset at something, if you're angry at something that they did, yes, you want to address it. But sometimes in that anger, that's not the right time to address it, because in that anger, you might say stuff that will affect their identity. So what we encourage parents is that if you're angry, fine. I'm not telling you that being angry is bad. No, I'm just telling you what to do when you're angry. What to do, you pause. Leave the topic for another time. Just tell them, okay, I'm coming back to this topic. Let me go calm down. I'm going to come back. We're going to address this thing. But let's leave it till later. Because as long as something is not an emergency, as long as fire is not burning in the house, something is not an emergency, you can always postpone your correction so that you give your connection. Oh, I love this word I'm about to say now. So that you give your connection the quality it deserves. giving your correction the quality it deserves. Because sometimes when we correct in that heated moment, in that angry moment, the quality of the correction disappears. Our children don't get to reflect on the correction that you've made. They don't get to see your points. This is why we must model emotional regulation. Many children are not doing the right things out there, even amongst their friends, because of what they've seen indoors. And again, parents, I'm not saying this as a criticism to parents. No, it's a learning gap for parents. It's a learning tool for parents. And this is why I talk about it a lot, because I've seen many parents who have worked on their emotional regulation, and the energy in the house has changed drastically. Or when I say drastically, I say changed very much. So important. Let's model it. Sometimes it's hard for us to regulate our emotions because that's what we saw growing up. There was no modeling of regulation, but that's fine. We can break the cycle. We can do differently. Model accountability. Model being teachable. Remain teachable. Model courageous acts. You do something courageous. Let your children know. Model apology and repair. Let them see this. Our lives are parts of their lessons. For our children to go to those great heights that we want as mothers, as visionaries, our lives are part of the lessons along the way. Very important for us to know that. Our lives are part of the lessons. Okay? Cool. How many? Okay, I think I'm almost done because I know that my timing, I am timing myself. Okay. The next part I want to talk about, and I think I mentioned this at the beginning. I think at the beginning I kind of touched up on lots of things I was going to say. But stewardship is not ownership. We're not. I don't know how to put it. Yes, I actually put it with my Christian hat on, my faith hat on, where we don't own our children. We're stewards of our children. We were gifted our children. And so here, what I've kind of described here is that healthy parenting grows, and that's what part of my relationship and growth parenting is about, is that we grow from stage to stage. The same way you were with your young child who was maybe between 0 and 10 is not the same way you're going to be with your growing child or your teenager. You know, things we can't teach all this in this session, but your stewardship changes. The way you parent your children matures as your children matures. So please don't look at it as if now that your children are teenagers and I'm telling you, okay, Fina is saying we need to let go as they become teenagers. No, I'm not telling you let go of everything. I'm just saying in bite sizes, we start to, it's so that they can be responsible for things. The more we're able to let go, the more our children become responsible. But of course, we guide them through that. We're not saying just leave them to do whatever they want to do. No, we have to guide them through it. Okay, so that's really key. And in the next bit, I'm looking at legacy, because as visionaries, what's the legacy? What continues through others? What do our children do? How does our children's lives impact other people? That's something we need to be talking about today. That's something that we need to be thinking about today. How will our children's lives impact their generation and generations beyond them? That's how a visionary mom thinks. The wider view. That legacy, those values, those emotional regulation patterns, those repair, those relationships you've built, those people you've served, the decisions they make, all that stuff. How is that going to continue? And when you think about how that's going to continue, it gives you the patience that you need today. It gives you the ability to be able to listen to them more, because you know that you're listening to them is not just about today, it's about the future. That's what legacy is about. And that's what a visionary mom has in mind when they're dealing with today's matters. When you're dealing with today's matters, okay, your child did not sweep the floor, your child did not read her book. The way you respond, you have to have legacy in mind. The way you respond, you have to have the vision in mind. The way you respond, you have to have the impact your children are going to make in the world. You have to have that in mind as you respond to that little issue that is happening today. That is key. That is key. And I put it here. Our home is the launch pad. It's from our homes that our children can become who they want to become. It starts from the home. It's not from the school. The school, yes, is a partner. The school supplement or complements what we have already started at home. The home is the launch pad for impact. When you have that in your mind, honestly, it would change the way you respond to your children. It would change the way you teach your children. It would change the way you model these values that we're talking about. It would change it. And this is why I tell parents, have that in mind. Because a lot of times, by default, you don't quickly just jump and say, oh, I need to behave myself. Oh, I should not shout. It doesn't happen like that by default. But it happens when we are intentional and proactive, knowing and remembering that our home is the launch pad. Those greater heights you want to see your children achieve, those greater heights start from our homes. It starts from our homes, because you and I have seen many children who went to private schools, who went to the biggest schools on earth, but yet still didn't achieve stuff. Or even if they achieved, they didn't have the character to go with that achievements. So it's so important for us to know our homes are a launch pad. And when you think of your homes as visionary moms, what should your homes have? What's the energy in your homes? Should your home be stressful? Should your home be calm? Should your home be nurturing? Should your home be encouraging? Should your home address behaviors and not attack identities? What should your home be? It's up to you and I to decide and define what our homes are. If we don't, we let our homes run on anything. Our home is the launch pad for the impact our children are going to make and the legacy that they're going to leave behind. So this is just almost like a summary. The deep roots that we're talking about, those create strong people. The strong people then build healthy families. Healthy families then strengthen communities, and strengthened communities can transform the nation. So each decision that we make in our homes today and every day, it ends up transforming the nation as a whole. So today, my fellow visionary parent mothers, what is something you've learned from today's session? What is something that you've decided, you know what, I'm going to stop doing this stuff? You're unlearning. And what is something you're relearning? What is something that you've been reminded of that, yes, you knew before, but you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I need to step up in this area. I need to continue to do this that I normally do. Oh, okay. I do that. Coach Fina has said this. Okay, I do that part that Coach Fina has said. But Coach Fina has also said this other part that I don't do. I'm going to start doing it. What is that for you? Note it down. Note it down. Vivian said that she has her notebook. Note it down so that we really model what visionary moms are about. You're a visionary mom. You're here watching this today. You have the greatest desires for your children. You have the greatest hopes for your children. And what you desire in your children can be manifested, definitely. But it starts with us. It starts with how we see their identity beyond behavior. It starts with how we root our children in values. It starts with how we build relationship and capacity in our children. It starts with how we model what we want to see. And it starts with how we release them into the responsible people and the responsible purpose that God has given them. That's what mothers as visionaries do. And remember, mothers as visionaries are not perfect mothers. They're mothers who are willing to learn, mothers who are willing to unlearn, and mothers who are willing to relearn. And that's how we will wrap today's session today. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share with you. And I know that we have learned one or two things from today's session. I trust that this session has helped. I've enjoyed presenting it, and I know that it will take us far. Our children are going to grow to those greater heights. As the church will say, in Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much, Vivian. I can't hear you.
Amen. Can you hear me
Yes.
now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes. Yes.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so, so much, Ma.
You're welcome.
We are deeply grateful. I'm just reading up chats of people saying you're hitting them, mothers say you're hitting them with parenting hammer. I've just been laughing at the background. Mothers saying raising these children, Gen Zers are difficult, raising the
Yes.
children of today are more difficult, and sharing emojis of cry. But I
Yes.
now, as heard you saying, we are not super moms or the
Yes. And we're
ones
not
that are not
perfect.
making mistakes. It is just being willing to
Yes.
learn. And I
Yes.
think that that's one of the most consoling things that have kept me going in this journey. It is sometimes I feel like, is it that having four children, because I know you have four children.
Yes.
I was
Yes. Yes.
wondering, maybe four in our time, in this time, is looking
Yes.
like daddy them 10 and
Yes.
8.
Yes.
Maybe if I
Yes.
had one, it would have been
Yes.
easier. You won't talk so much. You just give one instruction and you go. It comes in phases. But as they grow older, now we
Yes.
have two in the boarding house, the third one
Yes.
joining. So it looks like,
Mm.
oh my God. So
Yes.
just like that, we are done with this
Exactly.
phase. So I'm
Exactly.
even wanting the phase to come back so I
Yes.
can maybe undo some of the things that I didn't do well. And
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
just being very careful with the last one. I
Uh-huh.
have learned so much. I am
Yes.
imbibing so much. I have known so
Yes.
much. So, you see, when I see
Thank you.
people like you, I'm like, my
Yes.
goodness, how did you do it? But that's the essence of learning.
Yes.
Following you on the online space, learning from you, seeing your children, amazing, amazing things that they are doing, and being leaders,
Yes.
in those spaces
Yes.
blows my mind, and it gives me, that hope that you're on the right
Yes.
track. Keep going,
Yes.
keep
Yes.
going.
Keep going. Yes.
So
Yes.
I see all the chats that people are sharing, um, and I believe strongly. In fact, a man has also
Oh, bless.
a man have also repeated what other women were saying in the chats.
Yes.
Right on the head. I know all of us are feeling the same way. Someone said, "You're so phenomenal.
Oh,
I
bless
learned a
you.
lot of things. You hit my head a lot with the
With
parenting
parenting
hammer."
hammer. I hope it didn't hurt.
So I know it is the same way every one of us is feeling.
Yes. Yes. We're
I
all
feel
learning.
it's a moment of being mixed feelings,
Yes.
sober, hopeful,
Mm.
emotional, retrieving your steps and all of that.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
how awareness comes. you
Yes.
know it
Yes.
is not just going to end with listening to you.
Mm.
It has elevated our consciousness to do
Yes.
something, to take a step
Exactly.
today. Your
Exactly.
slides, I was going through your slides and I'm like, my goodness, you know deep roots actually
Deep
create strong
roots.
people. That's the
Yes.
truth. That's
Yes.
the truth.
Yes.
And I know that this is going to be an awakening moment for everyone who listens to you, especially for some of us that are mothers and want to become, mothers that are not just the regular kind of mother. We
Yes. You have to
want
go
to be,
beyond.
I particularly have always wanted to be that woman that 100 years after I've gone, my
Yes.
great grandchildren, the generation of my great grandchildren are reading about me,
Yes.
because I
Yes.
do not want to be the regular. I
Yeah.
want to do something different, and
Yes.
it will be first seen in the
Yes.
ones I raised. The
Exactly.
biological ones, the ones
Mm-hmm.
you raised in, destiny children, spiritual children.
Yes.
But this has to
Yes.
come first from the ones that
Yes.
are biological. You
Yes.
can't raise
Exactly.
animals and then you want to change the
Mm.
world. So it
Exactly.
has kept my life on toes. Like,
Yeah.
it's constantly on.
I think she's frozen. She'll come back. Mm. She'll come back. And before she comes back, for the audience watching, what is something you're taking away from today's session? Just note it down in the comment section. What is the lesson you're taking from today's session? Before Vivian comes back. Just write in the comment section, what is something you're taking away from here today? Oops, okay, she's gone. She said she'll come back. You are welcome. Yes, please just note down before she comes back. What is something you're taking away from today's session? I'm just going through the comments as well. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. What is one thing you're taking away from here today? Yeah, so Niechuku says, yeah, correction is not an emergency. Give it a time so you can give it a quality correction. Yes, exactly. That one is a big key. That part is a very, very big key. Yeah, our homes are our children's launch pad. Yes, our homes are our children's launch pad. Correct and reconnect. Yes, Fumi says yes. She wrote there, correct and reconnect. Yes. Yes, it's easier to influence our children when our children know we're listening to them. Exactly. Many parents say their children that they're not able to influence their children because the children haven't learned that our parents listen to them. Many children say their parents don't listen, and so that's really key. If we want to be able to influence them, and we have the values, we have the experiences, we have the unconditional love we have for our children, it would be a shame if our children lose out on the influence that we have for them. So listening is the key, is one of the biggest keys to the hearts of our children. Yes, visionary moms are not permissive parents, no, but they're firm and loving parents. A visionary mom is consistent and is not perfect. Yes. Yes. Any other comments? Folktales with AB says, building the right connections with my kids is safe place for them to be vulnerable. So important. So important, because I see many young adults on TikTok sharing about not being emotionally safe at home. And this is what it's about. It's because they were not given opportunities to be vulnerable. But again, we're learning, isn't it? Many of our parents didn't have all this information back in those days. But today we have this information, and today we can help our children more. So yes, I agree with you, Folktales with AB. Building the right connection with my children, a safe place for them to be vulnerable. Very, very important. Yes, and Onyechiku talks about correction should not be treated as an emergency. Yes, give it time. Give it time to give it a quality correction. Yes, your correction always has to be quality correction. And even if it means not correcting there and then and leaving it for a bit later, that's fine. It will not go away. It will still be there. Yeah, so that's important. Yeah, and that's the way you regulate and also teach model self-regulation. Yes. Yes. Okay, Vivian, you're back.
Yes, sorry about that. We had our network went off.
Okay, no problem at all.
Yes, I just got reconnected. Thank you so
Okay,
much. I saw that
you
you
are
were
welcome.
responding to all the chats.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so very much. I am deeply honored and grateful, because this is one opportunity that every parent gets to even see what they do not know about themselves in
Yeah,
parenting.
yeah.
I tell people that parenting is a big revealer. It
Yes.
reveals what you never knew that you don't even know before becoming a parent. Of course, before you get into that space, you think everything can be put together, everything can be under control. It's my children, I know what to do, and all of that. The parenting will show you from these different children that God will bring your way that
Yes.
you didn't even know that there are some things that were existing like that.
Yeah.
So it's a place of constant elevation of consciousness. And
Yes.
I'm deeply grateful that you spoke to us today in such a way that everybody can really feel that you're speaking to her directly, including men. That's
Yes.
how I feel, and I know that everybody feels the same way because it's such a journey, such a beautiful journey. You know, turbulent, sweet,
Yeah.
easy,
Yeah.
just like that. We are
Yeah.
grateful. We
Yeah.
are
Thank you
grateful.
so
Thank you
much.
so much for this honor. We will call you again and again, especially in our smaller community where we do the practicals called the Build Your Home Tribe. You're coming back to hit us with parenting hammer again. Let me use the award.
I know. Hopefully the
Thank
hammer
you,
is a
ma.
soft hammer.
Thank you so much, ma.
You're
We
welcome.
are
Thank you so much
grateful.
for having me.
All right,
And
people.
thank you to everyone. I
Send
saw Angela earlier.
emojis.
Thank you for everybody as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Send all your love emojis to Mama. Send your love emojis. Say thank you in the
Thank
comments.
you.
We are very
Thank you.
grateful. It's such an honor to have you. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in this beautiful session. Share this link with everybody, especially mothers. Share it, oh, because mothers, a lot of us are going haywire in this parenting journey, and that's why we come with that brutality, you know, and thinking that the child will just love you afterwards. It doesn't work like that. Share this link with every mother in your space. Share it in groups. Let them get to learn what we have learned today. God bless you. We will be back here tomorrow, 3 p.m. We are continuing this conversation. It's going to be back to back in the next 4 days. Please do not miss out on any of the sessions. You need each and every one of them. Tomorrow we are starting with a session that is going to be talking to us on boys, children, and then by 5 p.m. talking to us on family trauma, so that we don't transfer it as a generational cause. We usually call it generational cause. Meanwhile, it is patterns that nobody have taken responsibility to pause and say no. This shouldn't continue. So we need all the sessions. Get in here tomorrow. Get ready. Your notepad and your pen ready for tomorrow. It's going to be another blessing for all of us. This is an opportunity to also remind us that the Build Your Home Tribe registration for 2027 is on. It has started. Book your slot. 20,000 naira, you book your slot. 100,000 naira in one full year. Less than 10,000 per month. For you to gather all the knowledge that will empower you, transform your life, transform your parenting, transform your career, transform your profession, business, whatever it is. Parenting knowledge will change the trajectory of everything about your life. You cannot even miss out in 2027 if you're raising children in this dispensation. Please get in the tribe, book for your slot, book for your family members, your colleagues. Everyone needs to be in the tribe. That's where the real practical of everything that is being shared is done. When you listen and leave, it goes out. But if you listen and begin to implement, that's the only way you can bring in the legacy she has talked about today. So we'll see you again tomorrow, 3 p.m. We get in for the first session. God bless you. Share the link and get everyone in your space to join this conversations in this amazing conference. See you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.